They were once the crown jewel of American consumerism. Massive palaces of retail where teenagers hung out, families spent weekends, and department stores reigned supreme. But today, ghost towns, boarded-up entrances, echoes of a booming past. The American mall exploded in popularity after World War II, transforming the way people shopped, socialized, and even saw themselves. In the years following the war, the United States experienced a period of unprecedented economic growth and optimism. Returning soldiers started families, and millions of Americans moved out of crowded cities into newly built suburbs, seeking the promise of a better life. The mall became the heart of these new communities, a place where people could gather, shop, and connect. Riding a perfect wave of suburbanization and the rise of car culture, malls were built to be easily accessible by automobile, with sprawling parking lots and wide, inviting entrances. Families would pile into their cars on weekends, making a trip to the mall a regular ritual. The convenience of driving right up to a climate-controlled shopping paradise was irresistible. The booming middle class fueled this growth, as more Americans than ever before had disposable income to spend on clothes, electronics, and household goods. Department stores became anchors of these malls, drawing in crowds with their dazzling window displays and endless aisles of merchandise. Shopping was no longer just a necessity, it was an experience, a form of entertainment, and even a status symbol. By the 1980s, malls weren't just shopping centers, they were cultural icons, woven into the fabric of American life. Teenagers flocked to food courts and arcades, while families spent entire afternoons browsing stores or catching a movie. The mall was a place to see and be seen, a stage for the latest fashions and trends. With over 1,500 malls across the country, these sprawling complexes were designed as indoor towns, offering everything under one roof. You could shop for the latest styles, grab a bite to eat, play games, or even attend a church service, all without ever stepping outside. Malls became destinations in their own right, drawing visitors from miles around. Fashion boutiques, fast food restaurants, arcades, and even unexpected spaces like churches and community centers filled the halls. The mall was a microcosm of American society, reflecting its diversity, aspirations, and changing tastes. But like most golden ages, this one wasn't built to last. As times changed, so did the fortunes of the American mall, leaving behind echoes of a once vibrant era. The biggest blow to traditional retail didn't come with a bang, but with a quiet click on a laptop, in the comfort of someone's home. It was subtle, almost invisible at first. People began to discover the ease of browsing endless aisles without ever leaving their couch, the thrill of finding deals at midnight, and the convenience of having packages arrive at their doorstep. This shift was more than just a new way to shop, it was the beginning of a revolution that would reshape the entire retail landscape. In the early 2000s, e-commerce started eating away at brick-and-mortar retail. At first it was just a trickle, some electronics here, a few books there. But as more people got comfortable with the idea of entering their credit card numbers online, the trickle became a steady stream. Malls, once the bustling heart of suburban life, began to notice fewer shoppers wandering their halls. Retailers tried to adapt, but the change was relentless and unyielding. But it wasn't until Amazon's Prime model, with its promise of free 2-day shipping, that malls truly began to suffer. Suddenly, the waiting game was over. Shoppers could get what they wanted, when they wanted it, without ever stepping foot in a store. The convenience was irresistible. Other retailers scrambled to keep up, but Amazon's scale and speed set a new standard. The very idea of shopping was being rewritten, and the old rules no longer applied. Consumers changed. Why fight traffic, search for parking, or brave crowded stores, when you could shop in your pajamas and have everything delivered to your door? The hassle of carrying heavy bags, waiting in long lines, or dealing with out-of-stock items became a thing of the past. Online shopping offered not just convenience but also control, over time, choices, and even prices. It was a new era of empowerment for shoppers, and there was no turning back. The numbers tell the story. Online retail as a percentage of total retail sales grew from just 0.6% in 1999 to over 15% by 2025. That's a staggering leap in just a couple of decades. What started as a niche experiment became a dominant force, fundamentally altering how, when, and where people shop. The rise of smartphones and mobile apps only accelerated this trend, making it possible to shop from anywhere, at any time. This digital convenience hollowed out traditional mall anchors, especially department stores, which were already struggling to stay relevant in a changing world. Once the pride of every mall, these giants found themselves unable to compete with the speed, selection, and ease of online shopping. Many closed their doors for good, leaving behind empty shells and memories of a different era. The rise of e-commerce didn't just change how we shop, it changed the very fabric of our communities, our habits, and our expectations for the future. Department stores like Sears, JCPenney, and Macy's were the lifeblood of the mall. They paid the biggest rent and drew the biggest crowds. But they failed to evolve. Outdated branding, weak online strategies, and unsustainable debt crushed them. Sears closed 3,500 stores between 2005 and 2020. And when anchor stores die, malls follow. It's like knocking out a building's foundation. Everything else collapses. Here's a wild stat. The United States has more retail space per capita than any other country in the world. Over 23.5 square feet per person. In the 1990s and 2000s, developers went mall crazy. Towns that only needed one got three. Malls were popping up faster than the population could support. It was unsustainable growth, and eventually, the demand dried up. The way Americans shop has changed dramatically over the past few decades, and nowhere is this more apparent than in the habits of millennials and Gen Z. Unlike their parents and grandparents, who often spent weekends at bustling malls or big-box stores, today's younger generations are redefining what it means to be a consumer. For them, shopping isn't just about acquiring more things. It's about making choices that reflect their values, priorities, and lifestyles. Increasingly, people are seeking out experiences that create memories, foster connections, and enrich their lives. Whether it's exploring a local farmer's market, trying out a new restaurant with friends, or attending a community art fair, these experiences are often valued more than material possessions. This shift is about more than just fun. It's a conscious decision to invest in moments rather than things. As a result, many are buying less, choosing quality over quantity, and paying close attention to the impact of their purchases. Sustainability is a major factor. Shoppers are drawn to eco-friendly products, minimalist lifestyles, and brands that prioritize ethical practices. Supporting local businesses has also become a priority, as people look to strengthen their communities and make more meaningful purchases. Traditional malls, once the epicenter of American shopping, are now often bypassed in favor of curated boutiques, pop-up shops, and online brands that align with personal values. For many young consumers, the convenience of online shopping and the appeal of discovering unique, independent brands far outweigh the draw of big-box retail. They want to feel a connection to the brands they support, and they're willing to seek out businesses that share their beliefs. As one Gen Z shopper put it, "I'd rather support a small brand online than go to a giant mall." This sentiment is echoed by many in their generation, who see shopping as an opportunity to make a difference, whether that means supporting a local entrepreneur, choosing sustainable products, or simply finding something that feels personal and authentic. The future of shopping is about connection, purpose, and making every purchase count. Malls used to serve as a third place, a public hangout that wasn't home or work. But today, those spaces have moved online. Social media, gaming platforms, and even Discord communities have become the new food court table. For many teens, the mall just isn't relevant anymore. If malls were limping before, the pandemic in 2020 nearly killed them. Lockdowns closed stores, customers vanished, supply chains broke. And honestly, many retailers never recovered. Over 12,000 stores closed in the United States in 2020 alone. The pandemic in 2020 didn't create the mall crisis, it accelerated it. So, what happens to all this space? Across America, we're seeing adaptive reuse turning dead malls into apartments, repurposing them as schools, clinics, e-commerce hubs, or churches, and even building indoor hydroponic farms and food courts. The mall isn't just dying, it's mutating. We're witnessing a reinvention of public space. The American mall was more than just a place to shop. It was a symbol of prosperity, a teenage hangout, and a social mirror of the times. But times change. And now, we're watching that mirror crack, aisle by aisle. The question isn't if malls are disappearing, it's what comes next. The end of the mall era? Subscribe and like this video for more deep dives.